Hello, I'm Melissa Mattinzi, and welcome to the Plymouth Planning Board candidate interview. I want to take a moment to thank our candidate for participating in the interview and collaborating with Peck TV to bring this informational programming to residents and voters this election season. Let me explain the format. Today, David Peck will be interviewed. David will have 2 minutes to introduce himself, speak about his background, qualifications, and why he's running for office. I'll then ask a series of questions related to state and local issues, and David will be hearing the questions for the first time during this forum. He'll have 2 minutes to answer the questions. After the questions, David will have 2 minutes for closing remarks. The 2-minute time frame will be shown on his screen. So let's get started with the opening statement. And David, you have 2 minutes.
Hello, Plymouth. My name is David Peck. I'm a retired architect. I've lived in Plymouth for 28 years, and I'm running for the 5-year term for the Plymouth Planning Board. My background, I went to Dartmouth College undergraduate, Yale University to become an architect, and my first job out of architecture school was here in Plymouth, where I served as the project manager on the West, South, Indian Brook, and Federal Furnace elementary schools, among other projects. I spent 4 years in Maine and moved to Boston in 1982, where I served for 35 years as the director of facility planning. Emphasize on planning, because this is for the planning board. I retired in 2017. Here in Plymouth, since 1997, when we returned to Plymouth, I have been on the Plymouth Building Committee since 2005, closely involved in the 2 new high schools, Town Hall, Mass Maritime, here I am, the Maritime Facility and the fire station up in North Plymouth as buildings, applying my architectural and planning expertise. I've also been a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals, also since 2005. Living with the bylaws and the planning guidelines given to us. Now it's time, I think, to have an opportunity to join the planning board and help shape those bylaws and planning. So I'm looking forward to working with my other colleagues on the planning board and the citizens of Plymouth to make planning move into the 21st century and beyond as we enter our 401st year as a town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Moving on to our questions. Question 1. How does the board balance the need for commercial growth, residential growth, and open space in the community? And you'll have 2 minutes.
I'm going to answer it as saying yes, the planning board shall balance all of those. I happen to think in some ways it's currently out of balance. One of my objectives should I be elected, is to improve the percentage of commercial and industrial real estate in Plymouth. There's too much of a reliance on residential part of our tax base. We need more commercial and industrial. So that is, in fact, out of balance. But we need to maintain the balance with open space. We have a gem. We have a treasure of open space which we should both protect and build on. I think we are a remarkable ecotourism destination. So we have a great downtown, great village centers. We need more commercial, but it does need to be consistently balanced by open space. We have, of course, all the town conservation and open space land, but it's remarkable. We also have Wildlands Trust and Miles Standish Forest. So those areas need to be protected, enhanced. I also happen to think that we need, let me turn a phone off. We need to have our zoning laws include requirements of planting trees, encouraging solar, encouraging water-saving devices, but basically our environment is extremely important, and that needs to be folded into updating and revising our current planning guidelines and bylaws.
Great. Thank you, David. Moving on to question 2. How would you address the issue of the lack of affordable housing in town? And you have 2 minutes.
I have multiple ideas on that. There's several things. One is we should, as a town, try to work with the state to change the definition of affordable housing. In this town and in the state regulations, modular housing, so, I'd say call them trailer parks, but basically modular housing is very affordable, but does not count in the definitions of affordable housing. I think that should be changed because I think we actually have a lot more that doesn't count, but it should count. A second idea I have is in my work at Boston Children's Hospital, the city of Boston has something called linkage. And the linkage is every developer, every project over a certain size needs to contribute so many dollars per square foot of their development into an affordable housing trust. That has been the case in Boston since 1986. And I frankly would like to have Plymouth have linkage, potentially a two-pronged linkage, one for affordable housing. The money could go to the Affordable Housing Trust. But the second thing is a portion of the linkage could also go to environmental protection, sort of a fund that could help reimburse families and reimburse efforts that are climate protective and environmentally sensitive. So 2 things: improve the 40B definitions and the affordable housing definitions, and create financial streams to support affordable housing.
Great. Thank you. And for our last question, question 3. What is your vision for the town over the next 5 years? And you have 2 minutes.
Oh, my goodness. It's continue all the good work that we've been doing and add new goals and objectives. I think the outside dining, which has sort of developed in response to the pandemic, has just been wonderful. The downtown has so much vitality when we have our good weather that I want to certainly build on that, not just our downtown, but through all of our villages. A second thing is, in the earlier question, I really want to see our bylaws and planning guidelines improved to help support affordable housing, but also support environmental goals, whether it's solar, water saving, planting trees, native plants and species in this area. Certainly should do that. Another initiative which I worked on a year or 2 ago and would like to bring forward is the ability to, for our bylaws, to support accessory dwelling units. So larger houses could create studio or small 1-bedroom apartments and be supported to that to give an affordable option to young families. There are other things that include the larger initiatives, which I'll mention in my closing statement, are taking on the Pine Hills and the energy, the land to focus on the most creative, balanced redevelopment when the nuclear goes away. I'd like to see us work on the 1,000 acres, potentially for an industrial park while maintaining conservation land. And the other initiatives that I'd addressed in some of your earlier questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, David. We're now going to move on to our closing remarks, and you'll have 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much. And to the citizens of Plymouth, I welcome your support on May 15th and hope I could be one of your new planning board members. There are 2 vacancies. So there's the 2-year vacancy, the 5-year vacancy. I would like to step forward as a retired architect and planner, experienced with the Zoning Board of Appeals and dealing with planning issues here in Plymouth for the last 16 years, and certainly planning issues in the city of Boston since 1982 through 2017. As an architect and a planner, I think I can bring that perspective to the planning board. I'm also, I welcome the opportunity to work with people and not against people. I think there's synergy is the sum is greater than the individual parts when you all work together. So I'm certainly hopeful of doing that. I'd mentioned in some of my other other responses, my particular policy goals as a member of the planning board would be dealing with the energy and the Holtec property and rezoning that with both commercial and absolute conservation. I want to work on the 1,000 acres site in the resolution. I would like to increase the ratio of commercial and industrial to residential. I would like to work on linkage impact fees, as I'd mentioned. I want to help create and welcome more incentives for everything green, solar, renewables, landscaping, native plants, potentially create a revolving fund for water and climate issues. But basically, we have a lot to do. I want to roll up my sleeves and help make that happen. Thank you very much, and I hope I get your vote on May 15th.
Thank you. Thank you, David, for participating in this interview. We wish you the best of luck throughout your campaign and in the election. And for our viewers, thank you for joining us. If you're interested in watching replays of this interview, please visit our website, packtv.org/elections, for replay times and online viewing options, including Pack TV's on-demand and streaming service, Pack TV Prime. And please, make your choices heard by voting in the election on Saturday, May 15th. Thank you and good day.